adaptation of Macario, and the playwright is on her way. She is coming from Portland. Teatro Visión has been around for 27 years, 28 years, and I want to thank Raul Lozano, whose birthday it is today. It's really, really cool that you're here today because this is something that we just kept, pushing and pushing and pushing for so long. And I heard this great saying yesterday, where intention goes, energy flows. And it's just, I just have this sort of determination to make this, bring this play to life one way or another. So, how long is the Teatro Visión you've been working on getting? Well, we started out, actually the idea for doing Macario was suggested to me by Jaime Alvarado, and that was, I don't know, probably 12 years ago, 12 or so years ago, and then we finally, we finally started to try and get the rights from the descendants of B. Traven. I don't know if you know anything about B. Traven, but he was a very enigmatic figure. He loved to have all these fake identities, and he would go places like when he wrote The Treasure of Sierra Madre. And so when they were making the film, he really wanted to stick his nose and know what was going on with his novel. So he created this false identity and showed up at the filming sites and said, B. Traven sent me just to see what's going on. And he had some other name. And so it was very hard to track down his descendants. And we finally did, we looked at the book, the publishers, we people that were going to Mexico, we said, are you going to Mexico City? Yeah, yeah. We had these packets that we would try to deliver to the address that the publisher gave us. I mean, we just tried and tried and tried. Sarita, remember Saida Contreras? She was going to Mexico, and she went to Guadalajara, the university that has one of Mexico's leading film archives and a very strong theater department. And she got a copy of the screenplay that was written by Emilio Carballido, who's one of the leading playwrights of Mexico, which is so wonderful. I mean, the screenplay was done by Emilio. So we got that, but we couldn't track down the descendant, who is basically the stepdaughter. Because, and I'm not going to go into tonight to B. Traven's story, but
was it B. Traven Mexicano? Or?
No, he was originally from Germany. He was an anarchist. He published newspapers, and during World War II, he was basically run out. He was afraid for his life. He fled Germany. Yeah. He went to England, and he was jailed for being an undocumented immigrant.
Or he went to Mexico.
He ended up going to the United States, but didn't like it too much. And actually, during that time, it was an amazing time in Mexico, particularly in the oil industry. A lot of unionizing. The Communist Party was very, very strong in the whole Tampico area, and that just got his attention. He went there, and he was presenting himself as a journalist. He got gigs sending articles back to Germany to progressive newspapers writing about the strikes and organizing going on. It was kind of like pre-revolutionary Mexico in the 20s. So there's all this fervor about implementing the reforms of the Mexican Revolution. So he was there during a lot of that. And Tampico was kind of a Wild West town too, very interesting place. So anyway, we finally tracked down the stepdaughter, because when B. Traven eventually got to Mexico, he met a woman that worked for a publishing house and married her, Rosa. And she already had 2 daughters from a previous marriage. And they never had any children themselves. But she was very devoted to him and kind of kept an archive going, and was really taking care to promote his work, keep alive his legacy. And his stepdaughter, she has since passed on. And B. Traven passed away in '62, and actually the anniversary of his death was just fairly recently. But the stepdaughter, Malu, ¿cómo se llama?
Malu
something
from Montes de Oca. Yeah.
So she is, we finally were able to have a conversation with her. She was very excited that there was a company that wanted to make, help Macario get known in the United States, and particularly by the Chicano community, because Macario is pretty well known by the Mexican, Mexico. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, that film that everybody knows and loves and watches every year. So in Mexico, Macario is a very well-known movie. It was made into a movie in 1960. So we finally got the stepdaughter, and have been having conversations with her. The rights, it's like she wants to approve each step of the way. She gave us the rights to basically stage the book, and we could draw from the screenplay as well. So it wasn't to do an interpretation or inspired by type of thing. She wants us to do straight up pretty much the book. So we're trying to sell her the idea of adding in these songs and dance. And we've already suggested it to her, and I think she understands that to theatricalize a novel, it needs that energy of what's brought, and that it will only enhance the storytelling. So it's something that, as each step of the way, we're kind of selling her the pieces of work that we've done. So, and she's been approving, thus far. So, and very supportive, which is interesting because there's another company that there's only one other company that I know of that has done it. Traven, that did the Treasure of Sierra Madre, staged it, and they had a terrible experience of trying to get the rights of the family. So I don't know, they said they checked us out. I guess because I probably have an FBI record. Anyway.
Easy to track down.
So yeah, we finally, that's how we're working.
And what inspired Jaime to suggest?
Well, I think he just loves the movie. And since then, in looking at it and talking about it, and just what has come to me is, because it's about, it's a lovely, wonderful, rich, metaphorical old story. But we don't do things, Teatro Visión doesn't do things just because they're awesome stories. They have to speak to us today in some way. And so I've been, watching the whole food justice movement that's emerging, here in San Jose, across the country, and certainly, the work that Rosa has done. My stepdaughter Rosa works for Green for All, and Shago and Rosa have just claimed a piece of land and got started a community garden, and that's what's happening in San Jose. And so that whole kind of effort that's going on all over the country of people trying to get healthy food, access to healthy food. And it looked like a very wonderful potential for us to create partnerships and to offer Macario, the production of Macario, as a platform, as an opportunity for organizations like Vegilution to have their work known by a broader audience. We are currently working with Somos Mayfair on a story project, interviewing 24 to 30 people. Rosa's going to be working with me. We are doing these interviews about hunger right now in this community right here. And those stories will be brought to the process of Macario to inform us about the existence of hunger right now. The hunger that Macario and his children, his family experience is alive and well right now in one of the wealthiest regions of the country. So we're hoping that this will be to develop partnerships, that these stories will get told as part of the Macario work. Some of these stories are going to be developed into monologues to be performed, and they will be performed during the run of Macario. So people will see the story, but they'll also hear live, living stories of hunger in this neighborhood. And also the creativity, because Macario is very much about the resilience, and when you only have 5 cents in your pocket, how do you make that stretch? And that's one of the things about, being poor. You get very creative. And it's humor that kind of keeps our animal, keeps our spirit up during those times.
Yeah.
So that's what Macario is about too. And we'll be exploring that more in the workshop. What is it about? Because it's not just this tale of sufrimiento. So that's just a little bit about the project. We want to open this too. How many of you have come to see Teatro Visión productions before? Thank you very much. So, and I'm so excited that you all are here. And we're, a lot of our shows we've done, we have an ensemble process, but we find a play, find a script that's already written, director or I direct, hold auditions, and put up the play. Well, Teatro Visión, we want to begin doing things differently. We miss creating our own work from scratch, something that we did in our origins. We just kind of improv'd and just wrote up, and sometimes it was really bad.
Sometimes it was good.
Sometimes it was really good, yeah. So we that's something that we want to, just for years we've been looking at how to bring that back as being central